Hey, everybody, welcome back. Coach Unfiltered, episode 16. We started the journey through the World Cup, and now we are beyond it, moving along. So we promised to tell you everything about our Houston youth soccer system and what happens in our structure. Let's start off with simple stuff. It's tournament season in H-Town, which means about 1 month away from seasons starting everywhere. There are a ton of soccer tournaments starting. All right. But with that in mind, let's start off with the reason we're thinking tournaments. Mr. Gianni Infantino is back in the news cycle. Well, I don't think he ever left. And there he is. Yes, the evil overlord. Biggest thing for Gianni Infantino is, of course, the World Cup, right? He tried to monetize it, not in a bad way. I understand that people look at it and say, well, you know, he's trying to suck money out of people. On one hand, yes. On the other hand, you're dealing with an organization, soccer in general, that's not able to run as a for-profit business. So money, for example, FIFA, they don't retain anything. Everything's used for operations. Everything's used for prize monies. Everything that works on the national scale, they pay for, plus the salaries. Now, I wouldn't doubt that they give themselves a bonus or two for having such a successful World Cup. When it comes to club, then, this is where they operate close to the youth soccer structure. Youth soccer structure, pay for play, which no one likes, is designed to generate income. And that's just how it works. So he is trying to come up with a model where all the nations are essentially club parents, and he's the club they're paying into. If he has that income to come in, then he can operate and do many things. Now, this is the interesting thing. He has been asked to resign as FIFA president, okay? Check that out right there, right? He's been asked to resign. He is being pressured. There are groups of people protesting saying, you are trying to monetize, end the greed, stop this now. And he's basically saying, show that image again. Yes, 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 I will meet with the executive board. I will discuss the matter behind closed doors, and I'll get back to you once we come to a decision about me continuing as president. Thank you so much for your attention. That's exactly what you're hearing, because he does sit on the executive board, and only the executive board gets to vote on whether he goes or stays. Every member organization under, right, U.S. Soccer, CONCACAF, everyone can protest, say, we issue a vote of no confidence, we don't want him. That goes to the executive board. They meet and say, we're good with you. Okay. Then they just turn around and talk to them. But wait for it. He's back in the news again, but not because of just the World Cup. Okay. FIFA issued a warning to all of his critics. And this is interesting. The executive board turned around and said, hey, the project has been withdrawn. Right? It was agreed FIFA will no longer tolerate any attacks on its integrity, on FIFA's integrity, good governance, and due process, and will take necessary measures to protect and safeguard its name and reputation. So you're being told that this is just not going to work out the way you think it is. We can't get rid of him. And even if we were to, that's none of your concern. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. So they've already issued their warning. But why is he back in the spotlight again besides the warning? So let me show you this. Image number 3, please. And I'll get right into it. You see, Mr. Infantino has not just tried to sell the rights to the World Cup to have income come in. He apparently was trying to do this with the European Super League. Now, if you don't remember, in 2021, right, there was a European Super League that was going to be played. And here's how this worked. 6 teams, the top European, 6 of the English teams. So you had Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham, the top 6 English teams, the ones that supposedly make the most money. And then 6 other European teams, AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Juventus, and Real Madrid. Those 12 teams were going to be founding members in this league. Essentially what they were saying, We are the top 12 in the European nation. Why are we playing 80 fixtures a year? If only these 11 matches really matter, those other teams are just kind of B squads. Like, we always beat them 5-0, 3-0. It doesn't matter. They're just, they're throwaways. So why do we need to play that? Let's play against competition that makes sense for us. So they were going to design this league to play against each other in between their regular games. They were going to play against each other, create a championship out of those 12 teams, and the winner would take like $3.5 billion home. The best part of it is if those 12 teams founded this league, any other teams that got added to this league, right, could be relegated. So the top 12, those guys could never lose their positions. So you don't have to qualify anymore, which means you never lose out on money. You always have broadcast money. You always have venue money. You always have tournament money, always. But the other, let's say 8 teams they were going to bring on board, they could be relegated and they had to qualify every year, but not these guys. So this scheme came out, people saying, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. How do we do this? It's going to be fantastic. Immediately it opened up. They said, Super League is coming. The fans went nuts, just like they did for the World Cup announcement. They went nuts. No, we don't want this. This is greed. This is ridiculous. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. They tried to cancel it. They wanted his head. They wanted the clubs to pay. The clubs were horrible. They said, we'll never watch you again. We're going to say no, 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 blah. The reason Infantino's back in this is because the Guardian newspaper out of England discovered in leaked paperwork and emails that there was an actual non-binding term sheet when this was going on. The terms, FIFA was masked. FIFA and Infantino were given the internal code name W01, okay, as in world number 1. The documents detailed a 12-year commercial joint venture that contrasted with Infantino's public condemnation of the Super League. In other words, in public, Infantino was like, no, that should never happen. We shouldn't allow these greedy people to try to make money from this. No. Secretly, he was looking for more money from this deal because he was going to be the one organizing and running it. In the documents, and there he is again. So the biggest thing, right? He's like, He was looking for a bigger piece of the pie. Again, if he's organizing the money, he gets paid. Why not? That's just the way the world works. What was interesting to me is those 12 teams were trying to create a league of their own. Literally, that's the term, a league of their own, so they could play only the matches that matter to them. These are big money clubs. But why do something like that? The interesting part of that is the teams that were already going to qualify, no matter what. You can never be disqualified. Let's take Chelsea, for example. Arsenal. They hadn't won a Champions League since like the 16-17 season. It's been a long time for them. So they don't get that extra money of a tournament and championship. But with this league, they're guaranteed a spot in an ending tournament, always money. And that was the problem. You're dealing with a lot of debt, guys. Tottenham Hotspurs. Everyone loves them. The fans love them. They're great, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you a little bit about Tottenham. Tottenham is sitting on almost 600 million in debt. How do they operate? Loans. Banks loan them based on the value of the club. But they're so far under right now, right? To come in there and try to rescue them, imagine that, 600 million. 600 million. They need to make money. Now, they can take loans forever. And as long as they take loans, they're a viable business. Look at our product, give me more money. That's just how it works for them. But they're 600 million plus in debt right now. And this is right after the pandemic when this club structure was being thought of. If soccer cannot make money, how does it run? They're not volunteer organizations. These guys, right? These are clubs in your town. Let's say Manchester has City and United in their town. These guys make money off of the fans, off of sales, off of everything, ticket sales, stadiums. That's how they make their money. But if the fans say, well, no more, too greedy, not enough, where do you think that money comes from? So your clubs go in debt. Eventually the club fades away. If the club goes into relegation, if it's not in the top 4 spots, they don't advance into the championships. And if they're not in the top, I think 18, they go into relegation. You lose broadcasting rights. Your games are no longer televised. You lose sponsorships. You lose a lot. And so now it's up to the owners to try to finance your club until they come back to the championship level. It's interesting that this happens out there. And I'll tell you why in just a second. One of the things that people talk about, would this have worked if it had gone through? Most people think yes, if it had been allowed, but again, the fans really said no. They are really protesting the fact that it was even thought of, that we shouldn't think of soccer as monetary gain. I get it. I do. But black and white, big picture, money makes it run, guys. Now, let's focus on that. Coming back into the States, right? Coming back into what we do here in the United States, if you're looking at clubs, youth clubs, the pay-for-play model. I see a lot of people talking about the English model and the British and the European models, that you don't have to pay, volunteer until the leagues come in. The money comes from somewhere. The academies get paid by the clubs and they're financed from the clubs down. So if they're going to pay for your child's schooling, education, soccer, they have to generate income somewhere. If you don't pay, if you bring your child in for a tryout and he gets picked to the academy, they're covering $100,000 in cost a year per child. Okay, 10 kids is $1 million. And at that point, where does that money come from? Well, the clubs give it. They have to win tournaments. They have to get federation money. They have to go and get grants and loans to cover these expenses. So there's kind of this trickle down effect to the profit. And in the States, because of the way it's done, the pay for play model exists to fund what they need. So 10,000 parents, oh, that's exaggerated. Let's say 1,000 families are paying, right, $2,000 a year. That's a heck of a lot of money coming in. If those kids only get 2 practices a week, right, the lower tier teams, and you only have to pay coaches so much, the rest of the money goes to fund the squads that need to travel, that you need to pay for the hotels, tournament fees. The bigger the tournament, the more fees you pay. There is no cash money awarded for the tournaments, which is the interesting part. Tournaments keep that money and they go on to make more tournaments, unless you're doing your own club tournament. So if I'm having, Coach Art FC and I run a tournament and I say, hey, I need to make this amount of money, that money goes into my club and now I can do scholarships, developmental programs, stuff like that. But if you're going to a national tournament or an international tournament, those guys are just making that money. And that's exactly what they're doing. So different models. Again, Mr. Infantino here is dealing with the scandal and right now, not at his happiest point, but he is having a tough time with this whole bit. So there's your talk about Infantino and why, and then how it relates to us. Again, the youth model right now is soccer tournaments in town in Houston. If you're not aware, this weekend alone, I've got 4 different tournaments playing this weekend here in Houston. And this is interesting. You have the Pearland Soccer Tournament happening. You have the Rise Warm-Up Cup Tournament happening. The HTX Youth Cup Tournament happening. You've got the Aggieland Classic Tournament happening. And you have the Texas Academy League Tournament happening. These are all soccer clubs. Think about each tournament with, say, 200-300 games apiece. How many kids are at each venue? Pearland alone is using 4 parks in the Houston area. That's how big this thing is. 4 parks. Parents are happily paying this because your kid's going to get 3 games over the course of the weekend. 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday morning. And if you qualify, you go to the championship round, which will be your 4th game of the weekend. All right. Problem with the model? We'll get to that in a minute. The biggest thing then is who's making the money? Well, Pearland Soccer is financing their club with this tournament. HTX, same thing. Rise Warm-Up. Aggieland Classic, that's for girls' scholarships. Texas Academy League, one of the newer leagues in the MLS 2 bracket. Developmental, Texas Academy, MLS2. Those guys kind of go hand in hand. These are the kids that are hoping to move up to MLS2, move up to MLS Next. All of these guys are going to have their tournaments. Now, the venues are interesting. Pearland Soccer is using 4 of the public parks around town, right? HTX is going to use some of the finer fields up in the Woodlands. The Aggieland Classic is going to be at the Veterans Park in Bryan College Station. Texas Academy League tournament is going to be run out of GFI Academy. That's a soccer academy in the Woodlands. So everyone's got their venue. And which one's more prestigious? Where do you want to say your kid plays? That's where it comes in, right? The perception. Is my kid just a regular Pearland Rec League soccer player? Or is my kid actually playing Texas Academy League? I go to GFI Academy for my games. Where do you go? Oh, public park. These are the things that happen in our pay-to-play model, but it's the way it is, guys. Again, money's got to be made somewhere. And it's interesting. Throughout all that, even that, let's move on beyond youth soccer. You're now, let's say, semi-pro into professional. Volt is running themselves a tournament that's running through the summer. Now, Volt League is an interesting concept all by itself. Young man here from Houston, Sebastian Salazar, started a league. Now, as I understand it, and I'm going to hopefully try to get him in here as a guest, I got questions. This young man came from the marketing department at University of Houston. Interned, got a lot of contacts with people, and decided to organize a league. In his words, he said, when he was a child, he liked basketball. Nobody in his family liked basketball or understood it. So he said, oh, I'm going to like basketball, and then I'm going to bring that enthusiasm to my family. And he did. He showed them, look, guys, and he got them to watch basketball. He thought to himself, if I can do that for basketball, I could do that for soccer. There's a huge community here. Now, again, he's just a super fan. So what does he do? He organizes it, puts a league together, starts out with 7v7 play, 5v5, eventually moves up to the big leagues of 11v11 full-size fields, and he's running this league. Who is he targeting? There are people that have left the youth system at, high school age or didn't go to college and are just hanging around town. There's talent. Whether it's a guy doing the construction job or working in the studio, there's talent out there that has been untapped. He went after these guys, the journeymen, and he said, hey, come play over here. This is going to be cool, and I will promote you guys if you play here. People bought it. They went in. He started promoting players. He did so well that he ended up promoting a player into the Kings League. So Gerard Piqué, former Barcelona defender, has a league called the Kings League. One of his players, Mauricio Garza, 24 years old, was picked up by one of the teams in Kings League. So he gave them exposure. Everything's about YouTube, streaming, everything's live. He wants to get these guys out there. And it's really interesting to see how he's doing this. So Volt League is doing a tournament now. They've grown to the point that they are now just running a tournament that goes from the beginning of summer through the end of summer. So again, now there's soccer all the time. If you weren't tuned into the World Cup, you can tune into him. He's running soccer tournaments. And Volt League has a tournament that the top, I think, 2 finishers in each bracket, or 3, got a special invitation to play in this tournament. Again, think about it. The elite 3 top players only had to play against each other in a tournament. Sound familiar? He did the same thing the European Super League failed to do over there. He did it here. Same concept. The elite teams don't have to play these lower teams. They didn't qualify. But these top teams are going to play each other in a tournament for a cash prize. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I think that's a great concept. I think the European Super League could have worked the same way if we had that. But there wasn't anything there. The fans revolted. Here, however, they accepted it. They said, yes, we like this. By the way, AC Juniors, I believe, has won that championship title 3 years in a row. So the same team, the same top team in Volt League has won 3 years in a row. Does that mean there's not enough competition? I think that they're going to slowly build up. There's one team that's really tough to beat. They recruit better players, right? Just like anything else. But the top 12 are working against each other and battling it out in this tournament. What's right and what's wrong? You decide. Question of the day for you guys. Is it better to have a league where everybody plays at all times in all tournaments? So the lowest team, let's say you have 100 teams, number 99 should have a chance to play number 1, right? They should have a chance to play number 1 because it's the, David versus Goliath thing. We love to watch the underdogs win. So what if they could win? What if they do win? Is there a way to do that? Would we watch it? Do we care? The fans do. The fans of that team does. So we need to understand what dynamic is going to work. As I said, he created this league and it works, guys. He's doing really good. So AC Juniors is doing really well. He got Adidas to sponsor them. So uniforms, balls, everything Adidas for this league. It's a cool story. So tournaments around town, everything's happening. Now, the other thing, next weekend, if you thought that was over, we haven't even gotten to Labor Day. You have the TYSL preseason tournament happening next weekend. And then you still have the HTX pre-Labor Day Cup tournament happening. Pre. That means there's a Labor Day Cup tournament coming. There's going to be 2 gigantic tournaments in the city for Labor Day. And people are trying to expand it to include more. You always have about 500 games per tournament. It's a lot of kids playing soccer in the next 3 weekends, guys. So, yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. So we'll see how it works. Okay. So we're supposed to have our special guest today. I don't know if he's showing up, but we're going to find out in just a second. Stay tuned for this commercial message, and we'll be right back. And I'll let you know if he's going to walk in that door just now. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. We ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. That was a short, brief commercial break. But as you can see now, we got our special guest, Coach Jose Arredondo with Texas Hawks is back. Welcome back to the show, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me back, Coach Hart. Love being here with you guys.
Awesome, man. So, yeah, we had a small issue this morning. No problem. Kids and pets, they never cooperate. It is what it is. But thank you for putting up with us. And so we're going to have a brief discussion for you. All right. So Texas Hawks, you guys are about to start season, correct?
That is correct. We are about to get ready to roll and start our season for both and UPSL coming up.
Okay. What about the youth leagues? Are you running the kids as well?
Yes. Kids as well. Yes.
What league are they going to play? Are you going to stay with TYSL?
For now, this particular season, we're going to do 5 tournaments. So we're going to do 5 weekend tournaments.
Okay.
And then we're going to reconvene with the parents and see if they would like to stay in TYSL or try another league.
So are you guys playing in the TYSL tournament next weekend?
Not this next weekend.
Okay.
But one of the following ones, yes.
Interesting. So, yeah, we were talking a little bit about before you came on, Infantino was back in the news, and it turns out that he was actually involved in trying to form the European Super League. And as we were discussing all this, I was trying to pair it together with the reason he's doing this, and he's being vilified. Yeah, I get it, right? Oh, he's selling the rights to soccer, whatever. But the way I see it is, from a business perspective, if you're looking to make more money, does it make sense to play the lower teams? And the European Super League was designed for 12 anchor teams to play only each other. So you had 6 of the top English teams, and then you had Milan, Juventus, Madrid, Barcelona, all these other guys, they were going to go play each other so they could have meaningful tournaments and then get a cash prize. And when I read that, I'm like, wait, this sounds very familiar. Isn't that what we do here in the States?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, it's a very interesting take. I do think, however, that it does kind of take away from that experience of being able to play those lower teams. But I get it. It's a business. People want to make more money, even though they're already making millions. So it's definitely quite the topic you got there.
The interesting part about that, so I was looking at it and thinking to myself, well, they're making millions, right? They're paying contracts, they're doing everything. But in 2021, Tottenham Hotspurs was holding on to 592 million of debt, which means they were operating in the negatives. You and I are familiar with the concept because you're self-funded, I'm self-funded. And if you go down into the zeros, you're like, oh my God, where do I get any more? So they're forming all these finances through loans. They have loans, short-term, long-term, small business, you name it, 591 million. But because they have a product, they'll finance them. So they're looking for a steady flow of cash. And that, again, that brought me back to our structure here, because we've said the pay-to-play model makes sense now. From the American point of view, if you have a business, you've got to keep generating income. So it makes sense, right, to some extent. But the way they were doing it was only these top teams. And I remember that there were leagues where teams were playing and then they'd say, oh, let's go build this other league where we only play the top teams. And then those bottom teams created top teams and they went to play over there. And then the top teams from there said, no, let's go over here and now create a new league. And this is why we have what we have in the States. And it's interesting.
Very true. Very true.
The other thing then, so you're going to be playing in tournaments. You know what this is all about. There's over 6 tournaments happening this weekend in Houston. And I highlight that, Pearland Soccer Club has their tournament, and I'm not dogging them. I'm thinking it's awesome how much soccer is being played. Pearland Soccer Tournament has 4 parks they're using for their tournament this weekend. 4. And then the Rise Warm-Up Cup, they're using like 3 or 4 venues. Then you have HTX Youth Cup, Woodlands. Aggieland Classic, Bryan, College Station. And then Texas Academy League, GFI Academy. So they're going to be everywhere. That's a lot of soccer, man.
Yeah. And I've even seen some of the comments from the parents talking about how little they actually are able to accomplish because, they have to be spread so thin going from one side to the other. So is it beneficial? I don't know. Does it get more teams to play, on this weekend? Well, yeah, kind of. I think there'll be more groups than if it was just all, structured under one umbrella type of thing. So it's interesting to see how this works because, man, if you are on the smaller side as an academy, what tournament do you sign up for? Where do you put, what eggs do you put in all your basket? And it's such a hard topic. And then especially imagine if you have kids in different academies that are participating in those different tournaments, right? And it's like, man, how do you deal with just that schedule? That's wild.
I mean, you're a youth soccer coach for another club, and are any of your teams playing tournaments these next couple weekends?
I believe yes. I believe one of my teams is playing in one of these tournaments. I don't have the full schedule yet, but man, it's going to be pandemonium. Yes.
Well, yeah, you're just going to be running from field to field. I've seen it as a referee. You're there at game time. There's no coach, right? And I'm like, where's the coach? Well, he's driving in from Zuby Park, and he's trying to get to Meyer Park because the second game's at Meyer. I'm like, who schedules this?
And just parking. And then just parking. Just thinking about parking it.
Meyer and Zuby. Yeah.
That's the
Zuby
most
Park,
horrendous
you have to
part.
go to the back fields, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's interesting though. All right, so that's crazy. But yeah, 6 tournaments happening. I'm reffing in 2 of those. I'm going to be doing one Saturday morning at Meyer Park for a few games. Then I'm going to go to College Station Saturday morning to go run those over there. I'm actually just a referee this time. I don't have to assign anything. Not yet. Next weekend, however, we have the TYSL tournament at Paul Rushing and Peak Sports. They took over those 2 fields, so now that's their domain. We'll see what happens there. Isn't that crazy?
And yeah, it's gonna sound. That's a full schedule right there. Just getting from A to B, and oh man,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
tough. I do not envy you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so your guys, the older boys, you got a UPSL team, and right UPSL, and then you're gonna play Vote League.
That is correct. That is correct. And we just played yesterday, University of St. Thomas.
I heard you guys won really big. It was an awesome game.
Oh, I'm not going to disclose the score of that one.
No problem. You know, I mean, you predicted it. You predicted it.
I did. Yeah, and then so it's been a great journey so far in the preseason. And, of course, tomorrow we have our second friendly, and we'll have tryouts soon. So please follow us on our social media just to check that information out. But it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough season. Excited for the group. You know, we'll be doing 2 seasons, 2 groups, the semi-pro level. And so that's going to be very, very competitive, very nice.
Cool. Okay. And then Vote League. So I was doing some research into it because I've heard of it. I didn't know where it came from or how it was organized. It was originated here in Houston. And you and I were recently talking about, how hard is it to create a league and how difficult would it be to get this done? It really isn't. This kid, Sebastian Salazar from Houston, is the one who created Vote League. And he's not a player. He's not a former anybody. He's just a super fan. Came out with a marketing degree or from the marketing department at University of Houston and decided he was going to create a league so that he could see that, how did he put it? He wanted to see that enthusiasm in people's faces when he introduced them to soccer. He wanted to inspire the football community. And that was his whole take.
Yeah. No, I think he's doing a great job with that. It definitely has next level feeling with that, you know, going through the process of registration and just seeing the marketing side of it. It definitely does have that, you know, next level feel to it. So he's not doing bad for a league that has been fairly new to the Houston area, you know.
Yeah, he's been. He wanted to do something different than just the regular Sunday league. I mean, HFA has been around forever, and I guess that never had any glitz or glamour to it. You just showed up, you played, then you went home, that sort of thing. But this one is like a whole event. So
yeah, it's a whole. It's this newer generations where we were wanting to build that culture, right? As it were in more like a professional state. So it is nice to see that side of it.
It is cool. And so he's going right now. Let's go back to the European Super League. He's running the Houston Super Cup. The Super Cup tournament is by invite only, and only the top 2 teams in each bracket or top 3 in each bracket are invited to compete in the Houston Super Cup tournament. So
and you know what? And there's teams that get invited from HFA. I've seen HFA teams. I've seen UPSL teams. We were invited, but it was a little bit too early in the summer for us to sign up.
Right.
So it is an interesting idea that he was able to gather all these top teams from not just UPSL, right, or some of the local teams as well, to participate in this tournament. I give him props for that because that was a really smart idea.
And that's been like everybody's thought going, well, how do we know we're the best if we don't play these other guys? So if you're playing Division I HFA and you're playing UST and you're playing, you know, Hawks and you're playing all these individual teams and you come out on top of all that, you got bragging rights.
Yeah, it's definitely about the bragging rights. I love that idea. You know, it's a little bit like a local Lamar Open Cup.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly the Lamar Hunt. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm really interested in keeping an eye on them. I might actually have to talk to this guy and bring him aboard, because his claim to fame right now is that he's given exposure to players. At Volt League, he had a player named Mauricio Garza, 24 years old. That kid was picked up by Aniquiladores in Piquet's Kings League. So he promotes these guys. He talks about them. He promotes them on social media, pushes it, with the narratives. I'm like, this is interesting. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, definitely. And as a player, you want the best exposure that you can get. And so it is enticing to see a league promote their own players like that, right?
I mean,
so
that is cool.
I can see that appeal.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So I think it's going to be a good season. When do you guys get started with your gameplay?
We get started season kickoff for UPSL September 12th, 11 and 12 that weekend. And so it's coming up. And for Volt, I don't have an exact date, but I know it is in the second or third weekend in September is when we're going to start.
Yeah, because they're about to finish their Super Cup. Oh, no, they finished their Super Cup. AC Juniors won again.
Yes, that's not surprised. They
Where's
do
that
have
team
a
from?
lot. That team, I don't know exactly where it came from, but I do know a lot of their players are ex-UST players. Yeah, and I think one of the parents took over and just had that little project of having them play together, and they're pretty good. So I'm glad, I'm happy for them. Glad they won, and looking forward to playing them. That'll be a fun and exciting match.
It's going to be a fun and exciting match. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see these guys go. All right, sir. Well, good luck to you in the season. So Texas Hawks is going to be playing UPSL and Volt League. Volt League 2 or Volt League regular? Where are you guys playing?
We're going to start with Volt League 2, see how everything unfolds, and then hopefully go into Volt League 1 in the spring.
Okay. Don't forget to check them out, guys. That's TexasHawksFC.com, correct?
That is correct, sir. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Of course.
And it's always a pleasure working with you. So
thank you for showing up on such an impromptu way. We made it work.
We did. Sure did. And kudos to the production team, man. You guys are the real heroes.
Yeah, they trust me. I was watching him. He's like doing all the tech wiring, going, oh my God. I'm like, this is the real guy behind the guy in the wheelchair, the guy in the chair. He was here making all the connections, connecting satellites.
Oh,
that was great. He bounced a signal off a satellite in China. We're good, man.
There we go.
So yeah, man, thanks for coming today. Appreciate you. So again, TexasHawksFC.com. Tryouts are coming up soon, guys. Sign up. This is a pathway beyond club. Club's only going to get you playing, really. If you're looking for somewhere else to go and more promotion, come check it out, TexasHawksFC.com. This is where you can find a different path. Not very expensive either. All right, you got Coach Jose to deal with. He's very colorful. You'll enjoy. You'll enjoy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I was recently part of his conditioning session, voluntarily, by the way. I said,
Yes.
Man, nobody asked me. I said, let me step in. Coach looks a little tired. Finishing with all those young bucks. I'm like, good Lord.
Woo. Oh yeah, I was feeling it in the next couple of days.
How you feeling now? You okay now?
I think I'm ready to try it again, maybe.
Ready to try it again. All right, I'll be there for that one. All right, man. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate you. You have a good day, bro.
Thank you. You too.
See you, man. All right, everybody. Well, that's all we got for today. Thank you for joining us today. It was a lot of fun trying to get this one going. Episode 16 is in the books. Thanks again to Coach Jose for coming on. Thanks to the production team here at Creatopia for doing this. This was insane, but it was awesome. Love it. So again, get out there, play it, enjoy it. Houston community, soccer's everywhere, tournaments are everywhere. If you're not playing, why not? You ready? Let's go. See you next time, guys. Bye.